Bringing a newborn home has lots of joy attached to it, but it can also bring a lot of worry to a new mom.
Yes, when you're a new mom, you worry. I mean, I'm just gonna say you worry a lot, and you need to know what's normal for a newborn and when do I call the doctor.
Right. So we've invited Jamie Freishtat, who is a pediatrician and also a mother of 2, to come and talk to us about different things that we can do to help comfort our baby. Welcome to Mommy Cast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
So newborns cry a lot, and I
do.
think a new mom, can get really disconcerted about all of that. What, in your opinion, is the point where we should be concerned about crying and whether it's, just normal or not?
Right. Well, I think one of the most important things for moms to know, whether you're a new mom or an experienced mom, is that babies do cry. And they cry on average anywhere from about 1 up to 3 to 4 hours a day. But what we worry about is when, it is a lot, I agree. What we worry about, though, is when babies are crying excessively and when we really can't console them. If you have a baby that you cannot stop from crying, call the doctor, let them know. They may want to see the baby to find out, just to make sure that there's nothing else going on, and to be able to reassure and say, listen, the baby's probably crying for a reason other than a medical reason, so at least you can put your mind at rest from that standpoint.
Right. And these other reasons.
Yeah, let's talk about other than a medical reason.
This checklist. I mean, obviously the baby is tired, it will cry. If the baby's hungry,
right.
If the baby wants to be held, if the baby has a bubble, gas bubble or something to be burped. If the baby has wet diaper, maybe the baby has like a diaper rash or something. I mean, those are the kind of the normal things to look for.
Right. And with those things, oftentimes you can tell that those are the things because you can remedy the situation.
Right.
You can give the baby a bottle or breastfeed the baby. You can change the diaper. You can look at the body, make sure that, you can look in the diaper area, make sure there's not a rash. You can, there's ways to remedy. You can burp the baby, a burp comes out, and oftentimes right away the baby will start cooing. Exactly. And be much happier.
Right.
But there are certain things that I want all moms to know when you definitely should call the doctor.
Okay.
Or bring your baby to the doctor right away. One of those is a fever in a baby under the age of 2 months.
Right.
And we define a fever as a temperature of 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
And that temperature should be taken rectally using a digital thermometer. And I'm sure everyone at home is going,
because they have these really cool thermometers where you just put them on the temple or you just put a little strip on the forehead, but you're saying you really should do it rectally.
In kids under 1, you should be taking a rectal temperature. And
it doesn't harm them. Don't freak out.
And they won't remember. When they're 10, they're not going to say, I remember
but we'll remember.
It was traumatic for us, but they won't have
But that's going to give you the most accurate, close to core body temperature as possible. And that's really what you want.
Right.
So that's one big thing. Call the doctor right away if you have a baby under 2 months with that temperature. A baby over 2 months, you may also want to let the doctor know if they have a fever, depending on what else is going on.
Right.
Also, specific things you want to let the doctor know if you're worried about that the baby is not drinking normally. So isn't breastfeeding the normal amount, isn't taking the normal number of bottles that they normally do. Decreased number of wet diapers. Are they dehydrated? Any vomiting or diarrhea, always a concern, especially in a young baby. We're pediatricians, a lot of us are parents, and we recognize, especially as new parents, there's a lot of questions.
Right.
Babies don't come with manuals.
Right.
So you need to ask. Never hesitate to ask.
When we had our first, we didn't have the internet.
There are so many websites out there that have ulterior motives.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure you're going to, some of the good ones are organizations like the American Academy of Pediatrics website.
Right.
They have a wonderful new website called healthychildren.org, and it provides wonderful information.
Right. And that's what we need. Okay.
Yeah.
I think, there's a period of time of the day, Paige, the first time I ever heard her call it arsenic hour. Which is like, 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, where the kids just tend to come unglued. Right. And there's a lot of crying and fussiness and stuff, and it's probably because they've had a lot of stimulation of the day, they've kind of are winding down, they're tired. You're very busy.
Right.
The household changes, the siblings come home, the father comes home from work or whatever.
It's like a transition for dinner, bedtime.
Yeah, and so during that period of time, I think there's some things that moms can do. I mean, I think rocking your baby is one of those things that a lot of people do naturally, but they don't really understand that what they're trying to do is mimic what the baby was experiencing in the womb.
Exactly.
And a lot of, one thing I saw, there's the swings, you know, that go this way. Well, now they have things that go this way.
Right, right. They have different motions.
Yeah.
The stuff they come out with. Oh, my
But,
word.
you know, the kind of different motions, this is more simulating what they would have felt in the womb.
Right.
And I know one person told me, or I don't know where I got this information about swaddling the baby so it's tight, you know, got a tight wrap around it, so it feels kind of like it's in the womb.
Confined.
And then you move it this way, move the baby this way in your hands like this, and then you go shh.
Right, so you're sort of creating
You're
a
kind
bunch
of
of
creating,
different
and
sensations.
in the dark, too.
in the
Sometimes
dark.
if they're really, really like too much stimulation, and you can tell they get like overstimulated and they're too tired to go to sleep.
Right, and that's one of the reasons why babies cry. They often cry because they're trying to sort of drown out that excess stimulation in their life. Oftentimes they're trying to get rid of excess energy or tension. So, or like we said earlier, crying can mean, hey, listen, I can't. This is the only way I can communicate to you, but I'm hungry, or I have a wet diaper, or I'm not feeling good. And just to, at the beginning we talked about sort of reasons that you should call the pediatrician. We talked about a fever or if there are signs of dehydration. But anything that you feel that isn't right, if they're not acting right, they seem more sleepy, a strange rash, anything, let the pediatrician know. Let them make the decision whether or not they want to see you or something needs to be done.
Yeah.
Jamie, thank you so much. This has been great information.
Sure. Thank
really
you so much for
appreciate
having
you
me.
coming.
It's great being here.
If you're feeling particularly stressed out, or if you're feeling like you need some tips on how to comfort your baby,
Go to our website, mommycast.com, and we'll also have a list of great products.